Elsewhere in the Premier League, it finished Nottingham Forest 1, Chelsea 1. Chelsea looked in control in the early stages of the game as Raheem Sterling put the ball in an empty net after 16 minutes. But Forest were revitalised in the second half, came out fighting and deservedly got their equaliser, Serge Aurier making it 1-1. And that's how it would finish as Graham Potter's poor start to his tenure as Chelsea manager continues. Frank, Stevie and Jules with us. What's wrong with them?
I think came out fighting. Forrest is the analysis that Graham Potter can look at his team and say, well, where was our fight when Forrest reared their head and smelt that they might be on to getting some points in the second half in particular. The first half, they were timid, they were worried. Forrest, I think, were worried about getting battered a little bit and were in their shell. And Chelsea's goal was lucky. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Bowley doesn't deal with it. It spins up, hits the crossbar. Henderson's got no chance. Sterling puts it in. Chelsea, apart from that, did little or nothing in this game. In fact, when Forrest were going at them from the first minute of the second half, there was nobody reared their head in that Chelsea team and took... Well, I say that, nobody. The best player they've got, and I was saying to you, by far, is Thiago Silva. The only one with any sort of composure, nous quality. In the middle of the park, they got completely outran, outfought, and that's why he made the changes to try and resurrect that as the game went on. But I thought Forrest were, bearing in mind they're going to fight relegation till the death, I thought they were terrific, and I'll be honest, I think Graham Potter's got some big problems ahead. Yeah,
just one win in 9 in the Premier League, Stevie, for Chelsea.
I'll tell you what, he's going to have to be a worried man, you know, because after games like this, or after another game like this, should we say, you know, there comes a time where you're thinking, what am I going to do here? Because this is not a Graham Potter team. This Chelsea side doesn't play like Brighton did. They certainly don't play the way Swansea did, you know. And I'm talking about passing and moving the ball. You know, that was really the hallmark of his side, particularly Brighton, that they passed the ball from the back forward and created chances. And the only thing I remember about Brighton under Potter is, boy, if they had some better players up front, imagine the goals that they would score. So when Potter signed for Chelsea and got this job, I'm thinking, this is perfect. This guy can get the ball from the back through the middle up to the front, and if they can just sort themselves out going forward, they'll create goals and score goals, particularly if they can sign a goal scorer. So it kind of seems straightforward to me what would happen under Potter. Unfortunately, nothing has happened. Zero. I really couldn't tell you anything that Chelsea are doing that's any different than what was going wrong when Tuchel was in charge. I don't see it. I don't see the passing. I don't see the movement. I don't see people arriving late in the box and missing chances the way Brighton did. I see nothing of it. And at the very least, a side in the Premier League that doesn't battle physically. I mean, the second half was embarrassing from a physical competition because Nottingham Forrest, by the way, don't get me wrong, we're not Brazil in disguise. This was just desire and effort and commitment and getting the ball forward quicker and just being stronger. And there was absolutely no guy in blue other than Thiago Silva, as Craig said, that stood up to it. Everybody else was a little meek, a little mild, and because going forward, as far as putting the ball in the back of the net, Forrest are abysmal, in my opinion. There's no way they survive. They're never going to score enough goals. And we saw it today. They dominated physically, they got the ball forward, but never looked like scoring another one, put it that way. But as far as Chelsea under Potter, I don't know what's happened to Potter. This is not the Chelsea side I thought I was going to see under him.
Frank, we know that you love Chelsea, you played there. How frustrating was this match to watch for you?
100% frustration, you know, and on top of it being very upset because I don't see what I should see because you have the coach for that, as Stevie just mentioned, and I think you have the player for that. But I think you have to reset their brains because they don't play the way they should play. Yes, Thiago Silva was the best players from far, but I don't know, something is getting crazy out of my sign, you know, myself, where I feel that at some point they have the ball, but they don't want to do anything with it. And it's like when sometimes they have the ball, they should go for it, make like 10 yards, to create, to be outnumbered and to create an unbalanced situation for Nottingham Forrest, but they don't do it. That's crazy that during the game, I took a sheet, did I say it right now?
Yes.
But what was wrong, what was wrong, and I was writing everything, and I say, well, they didn't start well. They be completely inexistent in the second half. They scored a goal with a half a chance because they were lucky that Bolly put the ball on the post and he came back to Sterling. Then we didn't see anything from them. And I'm thinking about the chairman. I say, well, the chairman's going to start being very upset with that. So we have the transfer window now. He wants to buy players, but how do you get rid of the players who are already there? We're going to be upset because they don't play anymore. And what are you going to do with Potter, who is a builder, at the contrary of Boyle, who just want to buy, stars? They're going to play City next game. If they carry on playing like that, they're going to be smashed, completely smashed. They won't reach the Champions League, though they won't get the money to buy some player that they want the last summer. And we see nothing because we don't see involvement. We don't see any will of, I want to save that club. I want to save that performance. I want to do something different. No, they're just being drawn in their pessimistic, way of thinking football. Yeah, 602 passes. For that game, guys, we don't care. Nottingham Forest did 180 and they drew. We fed up with your position, We want to see something vertical. We want to see creativity, And yes, the two central defenders there, especially Thiago Silva, disengage, but bring the ball in the middle of the park. When you have the space, go for it. Create the unbalanced spirit that you have to bring to the opponent, to create something, to free your teammates. I see nothing. Really, I'm frustrated, but mostly I'm very upset.
I'm frustrated. You go to Frank and you say, you're upset about this because you love Chelsea.
Yeah.
You didn't
love Chelsea.
You didn't approach me with that.
You don't love anything, any club.
That's wrong.
No, you love your dogs, yes, that's fair enough.
Golf. Golf.
And golf, yes.
Nice weather.
But they've got the players, haven't they?
Well,
they've got the players to
play.
By the
way, I just go back to David. I think Forest's salvation is that there are other abysmal teams down there. It's not to suggest they're going to stay up, but I think that's some salvation for them. I'm wondering whether we're seeing the old sort of adage here of Graham Potter struggling to, and I might be wrong, struggling to gain the traction and respect in the dressing room as the guy that came from Brighton, and who's he to be telling us we should be doing this, that and the next thing. I'm not saying that's the case, but it kind of smells like it a little bit. It certainly looks like it in some of their performances. Telling the guys at Brighton one thing and telling some of these so-called superstars. I mean, the likes of Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, I mean, these guys to me are like, solid professionals. Yep. They're just going to do a job for you. But there's maybe a few other ones who are what you would call above their station, haven't been playing brilliantly, and maybe some of his instructions are falling on deaf ears. Look, I don't know, but whatever way it is, he's going to have to figure it out. If it's that, or it's just they're not listening, or they're not playing well. I mean, have you ever known Kai Havertz put 3 good games in a row? Yeah. Christian Pulisic, 3 good games, if he gets a game, that is. Raheem Sterling, at the moment, didn't have a great World Cup before he left. Wasn't playing great getting into the World Cup. Yeah, got his goal today, but I mean, it'd been harder to miss from where he was. So all these guys are not. Aubameyang clearly doesn't fancy him. Wasn't his signing anyway. So I think January is going to be. I think they're going to be one of the most interesting clubs to watch in January because of their position, because of the manager, and because of their ownership.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.